Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Melissa Rich. Welcome to Taking Care of Your Temple podcast. This is episode 18. I am with Janie Gonzales and Asea. That's the company that she is with. It's a natural health product, native health product that we're going to talk about here in just a few minutes. All right. So for those of you who are new, the objective of this podcast is to help women connect with God regularly, to use his grace, power, strength, and wisdom to improve their emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual health. I always say that in a different order, but whatever it comes out is okay. There are 4 ways that we do this. One is we keep our focus on God. This is something that sounds so easy, but it really is not, because there are so many things to distract us and to get in our way, and we end up chasing rabbits and going down all these different little avenues that we shouldn't. So we have to keep pulling ourselves back on track and keep focusing on God. Next, to acknowledge that we are not enough on our own, right? Because we are not, we're both pretty smart and capable people, but we're still not smart enough, strong enough, quick enough, whatever, to do everything by ourselves. We need God's help. And the good news is that if we ask him for it, he is happy to give it to us. Thank goodness. Aren't you glad we don't have to take a number to talk to him?
Exactly.
Or, can you imagine? Seriously, this is so much better. Next, remember that it is about progress, not perfection. So when we don't do things perfectly as women, we tend to kind of set a high standard for ourselves. It's easy to start beating ourselves up. Well, we don't have to do that, because as long as we're making progress, God is happy. He loves us no matter what we do. We should still try to do what he wants us to, but he still loves us. The next thing is to work on consistently changing our thoughts. We were talking about this at lunch. The messages that we give ourselves are so important, right? And if we give ourselves a lot of toxic, negative messages, toxic, negative things are going to come out. It's just not a good thing. So we need to make sure that we are giving ourselves positive messages. We are building ourselves up. If we don't build ourselves up, we're not going to be able to build up anyone else. Yeah?
Yeah, words have power.
Absolutely, they do. All right, so we're going to start this episode, as I always do, with a prayer. Lord, I just want to thank you for letting Janie be here as a guest with us today. Thank you for the friendship that we have and that we share. And I just ask that you will use the words of this podcast to be encouraging and to helpful to the people who are listening to it, that maybe it will give them some new ideas so that they can be healthier and live their lives in ways that are pleasing to you. Thank you for loving us, Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. So as always, my goal is to do this on a weekly basis and to give you guys some really good tips and tools that help you feel and function better. So today, I have an awesome guest. Her name is Janie Gonzales, and we have known each other for how long now? Like 4 or 5 years?
A long time.
Yeah, it feels like. I think we met at, I think that's still going on, that place where 100 cups of coffee thing.
Million cups.
Million cups of coffee. Yeah. We were both there, and Janie came over and introduced herself, and we are very like-minded. We hit it off pretty quickly. So Janie is it a representative or distributor?
I'm a consultant.
A consultant. I was wrong on both of them.
That's okay. All of that fits.
For a company called Asea. Their products are natural, or again, is it native? That's a term that you all use. We'll talk about that in a minute. They don't use any chemicals or any artificial means to help people get healthier, and I like that. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your background? How long have you been married? Do you have children? Tell us some of that.
First of all, I'd like to applaud you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
It takes all of us doing a little bit every day, showing up, speaking our truth, and educating, sharing our education with those that are ready to take to whatever level they're at, where they want to go. It's about elevating ourselves every day.
Yep.
Like you talked about, God is our guide.
Yep.
And if we listen and we're attentive, we receive messages every day. And so many things that we're looking for are visibly in front of us, but we've got this mind pollution and this all the time going on that we're not
distractions.
Yeah, that we don't really give ourselves an opportunity to receive and utilize those messages, because he created us in his image, and so therefore he's given us all the resource we need. Yep. But we're not really good at using those.
Agreed. Okay, so what's your background? Tell us a little bit about you.
Thank you. I knew from very young that I was going to be in education. I wanted to be a teacher when I was in elementary school. So I took that path. I became a teacher. I was a principal, taught at the college level. I consider myself to be a lifelong learner because I'm always curious. And the more I know, the more I'm curious about what it is that I don't know.
And you're always reading and researching and looking at, more than just about anyone I know. Yeah, you do that.
I love that. And especially my passions, I always like to say, are education and self-care.
Yeah.
Because they go together so nicely. Education just allows you to open up more doors, and it gives you a step up to get on the path of what it is that you're looking for. And then, of course, self-care, that's vitality. Without vitality, nothing else matters. And great vitality, it comes from having great energy, which all goes back to the cells of the body, which is how we started. The creation was a cell,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
And so therefore, those are my two passions. For that said, COVID gave me the gift of opening up my mind and my heart and saying, what should I be doing next? And so because of COVID, I got tired of hearing what everybody was guessing what COVID was about. And I didn't want to hear anybody's opinion because nothing was factual.
Nobody knew.
Right, exactly. So I started taking a course, 4 months course about the health systems of my body. And after I got through with those 4 months of connecting with 130 people globally that taught me about the health systems of my body and the organs, I sort of felt like God tapped me on the shoulder and said, it's not just for you. You got to keep going. And so in my mind, it came up, okay, doctorate in natural medicine. And then my mind was quiet. There was no monkey mind saying, well, how are you going to do that? How are you going to pay for that? It was just silent. And so then because of that, I said, okay, that means that's my next step. So once you say yes and you plant your flag, those opportunities, whether they've been available for you all this time or not, start really becoming visible. And you start meeting the right people and start reading the right materials. Before you know it, you're down that path, skipping along with ease and grace, right?
Once you're open to things, it's amazing what God puts in your path, I have found, right?
Exactly.
As long as you're open to it.
Exactly. So with that said, I started off on that journey of the doctorate in natural medicine, but at the same time, I realized that the true healers of the world were our ministers. In the very beginning, it was the power of the word. It was the power of the community, the power of the environment that were the healers. So they were the true doctors in the very beginning. So at that time also, during that 1 year, I became an ordained minister by studying and connecting the dots between the self-care and also the education and the ministry, because I feel like we minister to people every day. We don't call it that, but how we show up in somebody's life is a form of ministry.
And I like you mentioned self-care several times. My experience, I think women are bad at self-care. We take care of everybody else. And then if there's any time or energy left, maybe we do something for ourselves. And the problem with that, I mean, this is my opinion. You may disagree. I'll smack you if you do. No. The problem is that if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't take care of anybody else.
Yeah, that's right. It's like put your oxygen mask on first.
Yes, on the airplane. Yeah. And then you can help other people. But I think too many women, our priorities are everything else but us.
Yeah. I like the concept of you have a pitcher and you have the basin. And so you serve from the overflow into the basin, not the pitcher itself. Because if you're taking it from the pitcher, you're not replenishing yourself enough to be able to have the reservoir to be able to give to whomever.
It's a good illustration. Yeah. Okay, so you're working on this PhD in natural medicine. About how long do you think it will take you?
I just started, so it's not like I'm rushing into it, because I'm really savoring and the enjoyment of the learning, because the more I learn, the more joyful I get about it, the more I want to master it. I want to really, and it takes time. There's a difference in acquiring knowledge and mastering it. Mastering takes putting it into action and doing a lot of sharing, not just acquiring the knowledge for yourself. So that's what I really want to work on, is more mastery. I'm not on a specific timeline. I'm waiting for God to say, if he finally says, all right, get on it faster, I will. But for right now, I think I'm on the right track, because self-care is not just the physical body, it's a mental, the emotional, the spiritual connection as well. And so all those four things that come together balanced out that help you move forward in whatever direction you want to move in, whether it's relationships, finances, careers, health, whatever it is.
Absolutely.
It takes big energy and vitality to be able to move in those directions.
When you finish your degree, do you know what your plan is to do with it at that point? I mean, are you going to open a clinic or?
Possibly.
Okay.
I'm going to see what the whole purpose of me doing this is to serve others, be a force of greater good in the world. And so how do you best do that? And that's what I'm working on discovering right now. Another way that I'm serving people right now is during COVID, I got really involved with Tony Robbins, and I'm sure you know who he is.
Yes, and you've been to several of his events.
Actually, I took the whole year of COVID while I was doing this other to attend every course that he offered.
Really?
Because the more
wait, they were offering his courses during
virtually.
Okay. I was like, because I know he has like thousands of people who will go. Okay.
I just finished one Sunday where we had 300,000 people enrolled.
Whoa.
30,000 people enrolled. Excuse me.
That's still a lot.
I know. So anyway, it was a no-brainer because he was offering you virtual opportunity for you to be able to learn his coursework. So for the price of one ticket, both my husband and I got to participate.
Oh,
so
nice. Yeah.
So then spent the whole year taking every course that he offered. And then this last year, I've spent the whole year giving back to the community by helping to run, do whatever it takes on a senior level path with Tony Robbins, because everything he teaches is about helping you elevate yourself and be a better version of yourself by working in those areas of yourself that you need, which are still tied back to the cells of the body, but putting it all together so that you're a more balanced person, and how to work on those areas for yourself without having to have somebody to be there to tell you all the time what to do, when to do it, and how to do it.
Okay, let's move on to Asea Redox. That's the main product of the Asea company. And I do want to read the disclaimer that Janie gave me before. Asea Redox and Asea and Renu 28, which she will talk about in just a minute, are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or medical condition. So we want to get that in there. Okay, so Asea Redox is the product. It's Asea Redox Cell Signaling Supplement. Did I get it all?
Right.
Okay, it's a long name.
I know.
Okay, who created this product and how was it developed?
Okay, so they've been researching, globally, the world has been researching this particular modality for quite a while, but they could never stabilize it outside of the body for very long.
So it was a theory, but they couldn't quite get it.
They were working on it. Yeah.
For how, like years, wasn't it?
Yeah, many years before. And so the president, the owner of this particular company, bought the company that was working on it. And so then he brought in his own scientists and specialists. And they, in 2008, they were working on it. Finally, by 2008, they finally were able to stabilize it. An atomic medical physicist who wrote a book that I'll share with you later on, was the one that was able to finally create the process that allowed it to be stabilized in a bottle where it had a shelf life of 2 years, and once it's open, 30 days. And he too, when he first started, said that everybody that he talked to, all the scientists, researchers, had always said that it couldn't be done. He too felt like that was the case as well, but he stuck with it, and it probably took about 2 years. And he too talks about how he felt like he was guided also, and the process of how to actually get it done. And so that was when Asea came about. And you said redox molecules
that they kind of got that perfected in 2008.
Started working on it in 2008, and in 2010 was when they had the first big summit. Using
because they had the product, it was stable, they could use it,
and they could start producing it and selling it.
That's just a little less than 13 years ago.
Right.
So they've been working on it a long time.
Been working on it.
The concept was there, but it just took them a while.
Yeah, for about 2-3 years they've been working on getting the right process and the right patent.
Okay. So the two main products that I want to talk about are Asea Redox, the supplement, and then Renu 28. So Asea Redox, and again, what was the full name? Cell signaling supplement. Okay, that's the one that they have taken a while to perfect. What does it do?
So what it does, Redox cell signaling supplement really is a category by itself. It doesn't really fit into any category because nobody else has it. But the world wants everything nice, neat, in packages, so that's why they categorize it now as a supplement. So we actually have redox molecules in our body.
Right, I knew that.
But what happens is we get older and we age, we're making less and less, not just redox molecules, but other things.
Yeah, right.
So the purpose of redox molecules is to keep the systems of the body communicating together. So that way it tells the body, the cells, and what it needs to do to keep it healthy and help correct whatever needs to be corrected. And if it can't correct it, to help get rid of it so that it doesn't keep multiplying. So think about it as a cell phone. Like if you have a cell phone and it's a great cell phone, but you're in an area that's maybe a 2G, you're not going to get good communication, good service. That's the way it is in the body. If the systems, organs, or whatever are not receiving the plan about what to do to correct the invasion of things that shouldn't be going on in our body and correct it, then you have no army to help take care of the body.
To fight off the virus or whatever.
To connect and to repair quickly what it can.
So it sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like Asea Redox, what it does is it helps connect different things in the body so that things are functioning better? Or is that an oversimplification?
Rejuvenates a cell so that the cells are the optimum health. And then the cells of the body are doing what it was intended to do.
So it helps everything function.
Right. The cell, the mitochondria.
Okay. Right. I remember mitochondria from, what was that book? A Wrinkle in Time, Madeline L'Engle. Read that a long time ago. Okay. All right. So my understanding is that the Asea Redox supplement works in 5 main areas of the body. Is that correct? And if so, what are they?
Those are the pathways that probably create the greatest performance in the body, which is working on your inflammation, keeping it in check, helping to build your immune system, working on modulating your hormones, working on your stress level, and then on your digestive. So those 5 areas are probably the most important components in the body that if you get those working right, the rest will fall into place.
And especially as we get older, those are areas that we have more trouble with. So, I can see how.
And then cardiovascular. I don't know if I mentioned that. And working with the arteries.
Oh, and that's another good one. Okay. So the phrase that I keep hearing, and I kind of refer to it, is that Asea is native to the body. What does that mean?
That means that because in our body, we already have salt and water. Our body's made mostly of liquid and water. And so we need that in our body to be able to do the functions that we need to have in our body. So our cells already made of, like I said, redox molecules, which are salt and water type in the cells of the body. So that's why when they say native to the body, it doesn't have to figure out what to do with it. When you consume it, the minute you put it in your mouth and you hold it for 15 seconds or whatever, it goes through soft tissues and the gums, esophagus, it goes straight to the cell. When you take something that's healthy, like a berry, it still has to figure out, okay, what do I do with it? Extract what I need, what I don't need, I got to get rid of. With redox molecules, it's target straight to the cell. So immediate use.
A berry would be natural. Asea Redox is native because our bodies already have them. You're just putting more into your body what is already there.
That's why instantly it's gonna go instantly to start working on the cells of the body.
Okay, so it does work fast because you're right. It doesn't have to process anything.
Right.
It just goes straight to where it needs to be. Okay, I get that. That makes sense. And you kind of address this. If our bodies produce these redox molecules naturally and already, why do we need to drink more of it?
If you want to have sustained quality of energy, vitality, good mental focus, sleep well, all those things that we have when we're younger because everything's working right.
Right.
You need to maintain that level. Otherwise, with age, you're dropping the level of what is available.
So our bodies make them, but not nearly as much.
Not as we get older. Yeah.
And we need all of that for our bodies to function.
If you want to function
optimally
at 70, like you're still 20 or 30 or 40 or 50, yes.
Yeah.
And who doesn't?
Who doesn't? Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So what is cell signaling? Because Asea talks about that.
That's what I was just talking about. It's the cells talking to each other, the health systems talking to each other, communicating, just like I said, the cell phone and the towers. It's talking to each other. It's such a miracle of a system that we have in our bodies. Think of it as a village, and then all the things that they need to be able to get the fire department or call whoever they want, like that in our body. That's what it's doing. It's
so connecting. The different body systems are communicating with each other and saying, I need more red blood cells, or
I need this help. This is a problem. Come and help take care of it. Right.
And so Asea makes that communication happen more easily and more naturally.
Right. It returns you to the healthiest state of body.
Nice.
To where you're able to not have to think about it. I don't have to think about, all I have to do is put my body in that state by consuming the molecules and let my body and my creator do the rest.
Love it. Okay. So you kind of addressed this, but what specific areas of the body does Asea Redox improve? I mean, just all of them, or?
You name it. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. From brain to toe.
Wow. And everything in between.
Yeah, because everything's connected.
Yeah, that is true. Okay, the Asea website talks a lot about cellular support. In fact, it's called a cell signaling supplement. So what does Asea Redox do to or for our cells? And you may have already addressed this. Mm-hmm. Is this something separate or?
No, it's what I've been talking about all along.
Okay. And how long have you personally been using the Asea products?
I've been on it since they first started off in 2010. I would never be without it. I give something else up first. My husband and I are both consumers. We've seen some amazing testimonies with people that we personally know who had some real serious health challenges. And again, I always say it's your creator and your body that's creating those miracles. The body knows the truth and it never lies.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you don't know what's going on inside your body until maybe you get a report. And sometimes that report is not the best report that you want to hear.
Yeah.
So just looking at a person's body is not an indicator of what's going on the inside.
Oh, yeah.
You can have six-pack abs and you can look great and fit or whatever, and then still have some issues with cells that are abnormal in the body.
You know, I don't know if this relates, but a couple of months ago, I had 3 little dogs, and one of them was just not doing well and throwing up and doing all this stuff. And we took her into the vet thinking that they would say, okay, we'll try this med or whatever. But we didn't know. We didn't know is this fixable or not. So we were just praying that, okay, Lord, if we need to put Daisy down, which I was hoping it would not be, let us know very clearly. So when the vet called me, and I was at the Female Executives of Waco meeting, right before it started. So she goes, oh, she's got high blood pressure, and just listed like 8 things that she had that did not look like she had any of that at all. Mm-hmm. And then she said, we need to put her down. And I'm like, oh, well, this is very clear. And I've kind of wondered since then, can you give Asea Redox to animals?
It even has a cell.
Really? Okay. So it's not, it would not hurt them at all. It would not
hurt them at all.
Do you have any pets?
No, I don't. I don't have time. I'm so busy. Yeah. A pet is like a child, but how many children have pets? In fact, I'm going this weekend to go babysit my granddaughter and the pets while they're gone on a trip.
Okay. Do you know people who give their pets?
Yes, I do. Mm-hmm.
I wish I had thought of that.
And horses as well.
Really?
Anything that's living that has a cell is going to get results because it's got systems and organs.
Fun. Okay. Yeah, because I guess you just give it to them in their put it in their water.
Yeah,
or
no, you never mix anything with the Redox molecules.
okay.
You can put a little bit in a little bowl and let them lap it up. You
Right.
could give it to them with a dropper. You know,
Okay.
you can spray it.
Okay.
Some people spray it in their eyes for
Really?
pets as well as adults, as human
Huh.
beings. Yeah. My husband got rid of floaters in his eyes by just spraying it in his eyes. He's 85, and
Yeah.
so yeah.
Well, one of my dogs, who is about 85 in dog years, Bugs, he's a Boston Terrier. He's got cataracts in his eyes, and he can still see, like we think, big things, but when I walk him, I have to be really careful that he doesn't walk into things. So I wonder, when I first noticed that, if I had thought to spray him, I wonder if that would have helped with anything. I mean, you don't know.
You never know. I always say the only ones that are in charge is God and our body.
Yeah, it wouldn't have hurt.
No, it wouldn't have hurt. Definitely, for sure, it wouldn't have hurt. There's lots of ways that you can use both the gel and the liquid. Whenever there's like during the winter time, when there's more germs floating around, we have a little handheld nebulizer that we put it in, and we inhale it and let it go in through
your nose.
through our nose, right? So that it goes deeply into the lungs to help clean up all that mess that we tend to
coughing up. And right? Interesting. Okay. All right. So you've been using it since 2010. You were just one of the first ones in there. You jumped right in.
When I first got introduced to it, yes. I'm very open. I'm very open because I think there's always a reason why it shows up.
Yeah.
We have to be open-minded and look at the results that we can possibly get. And if there's no side effects, why not? I mean,
well, we talked about this just a couple of hours ago at lunch, that you said you tend to jump in and try new things and, see how they go. So I can see you hearing about this and thinking, I want to try that. And now you and your husband both sell it as well as use it.
Yeah,
correct?
we're both consultants.
Yeah.
In fact, my husband, before he was my husband, we were friends, and we've been friends for about 3 years. He had a health challenge where they wanted to open up his spine and do something to his
you were
vertebrae.
telling us about that, yeah.
And then super gluing back. And he said, wait, before I let you do that, he said, I'm going to try some other things. And so I introduced him to it, and he never had to have the surgery. He and I both work out at Orange Theory Fitness, which is a high intensity interval training program. And he was able to regain the use of his leg, and which was what was the problem with him. And so again, the body was the one that was doing the work. You give the body what it needs, the health systems and the organs communicate, and then they get to work. And for some people, it takes a little longer. Some people, they get immediately results. They feel it. For some people, it takes 30, 90, 60 days. It depends.
Right.
You got to allow the body to do what it needs to do, because we don't know how long that's been an issue in the body.
Yeah, exactly. And we were talking about this at lunch too, that it just can do so many things, and you have to kind of let it work on its own. And there are so many more natural types of products out there nowadays. I mean, you can use Asea. We were talking about several other ones at lunch that can also be helpful, but you need to find something that is helping you, that works for you. You need to try some things, because some things will work really well for your brother. They may not work as well for you. So you need to get out there and see what there is. And there's so much available nowadays that is natural.
Right.
I don't like things with a lot of chemicals, needles, invasive procedures. And, 30 years ago, there was not nearly as much available as there is now.
Yeah. The good thing about Asea is that it's good for everybody, because the cells already are making it.
Right.
There's a lot of natural products that some people are allergic, even if it's a natural product, just because it's really good for you. Let's say pineapple or kiwi.
Right.
Really, you love it. It's really good for you. Could be poisonous and toxic to somebody else. So that's where you have to really read the labels.
And that's what I was saying. You need to try it, because you don't know if it's going to work for you or not. And I want to say, do you care if I tell people how old you are?
No.
Look at them. This face, 70 years old. Can y'all believe that?
And I'm doing my first dry try tomorrow. In fact, I said, you know what? It's time for me to get in there and do some of that stuff. Because
tell people what that is. They're not going to know.
Okay, dry try is like triathlon without the swimming, and you're doing it inside. So it's 2,000 meters rowing. It's 3.5 miles. of on the
running?
treadmill.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you do 300 floor weight exercises, and you do it in 90 minutes.
Are you doing any bicycling?
No, not
Okay.
bicycling.
So they changed it up a little bit, but still incredible effort.
Yeah.
Good golly, Miss Molly. Okay. And you're doing this tomorrow.
I'm doing it tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to it. You know what? My brain, just like the doctorate, my brain just said, hey, it's time for you to step up and do that when you've not done that yet. Okay. Okay. I will.
I'll tell you, I'm going to step out here. One of the things I want to do in the next year or two is I want to try skydiving.
Oh, yeah. That's on my to-do list.
It is. I've never done it before. I may only do it one time. My brother, one of them, when he turned 50, one of his daughters gave him a skydiving lesson or whatever, and she did it with him. And, they videotaped it and all that. And so we were asked him later, how was it? And he said, well, it was really good. I'm glad I did it. I will never do it again. Okay. And that may be how I would be too, but
once it's enough, you can check it off your list, right?
Done. Yeah.
Yeah, anyway. I've attended some amazing boot camps and have gotten to experience some amazing things that had I known what I was going to have to do, I would not have said yes. And I definitely would not have paid those mega bucks to get to do that. Yeah. But you know what happens is when you're in it, the inner confidence and the strength comes out and you're able to resolve whatever it is. Until you're confronted with it. You have no idea how strong an individual we are.
That's right.
Both mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, which is what all four forces come in full force and move you to accomplish safely whatever it is that you got yourself into, right?
Absolutely. Okay, so tell us, you kind of got into it a little bit. What are some results that you have seen like clients get? Maybe some testimonials that you have from using
Oh my goodness, there are so many. The one I talked about with my husband. We also have a family member who had Lyme for many
Lyme's
years,
disease?
And went through some horrific treatments that were not good, which left this individual with sort of like crippling of the hands and still a lot of problems. And so we took this individual with us to one of the trainings that we did, and he experienced it for the first time. And within seconds, his hands were crippled like this. Within seconds, he was able to actually move and open up his fingers and his hands, which he had not been able to do just by using the gel on his hands.
Which we're going to talk about in a minute. Okay, cool.
And so, amazing results of people that have been told that they probably wouldn't get to see their children grow up past because they had some serious health challenges. Again, I always say it's your creator and your body that's doing the work. You give it what it needs. You have that faith and you do what it takes to get that done, and you get those results. People that woke up one morning and all of a sudden couldn't move, were practically paralyzed because they didn't know they carried that gene for a specific
and
issue.
It manifested itself at that point.
We carry different miasms in our body that are generational. And so if we don't know we're carrying that gene, it could skip a generation, or it can show up for you at any point. It doesn't matter if you're an athlete. It doesn't matter who you are, what condition you're in. When it shows up, it shows up. We've had athletes that we worked with that had said that consume Asea before the Ironman, for example, and after the Ironman, they say normally it takes them like 2 weeks for them to recover. They said just sitting down on the potty is torture. And they were able to get up and sit down and still walk and not have pain and recover very, very
because
quickly.
They did the Asea before and after the event.
And they've been doing it along the way. They've been preparing their body. So it takes them to a whole different level of having that happen. I had a gentleman that I got to work with at Ironman, which he gave me his medal afterwards because of me coming over and assisting him. He was having a lot of trouble breathing, and you could tell he was having some issues. And I said, "You mind if I offer you some assistance?" And I gave him some of the Asea liquid and some of the gel, because he said he felt like his brain was scrambled and he was having a hard time breathing. And immediately, as soon as he consumed the liquid and as soon as he put the gel on, he said he felt like all of a sudden he just woke up and was back in control of himself with his breathing and his brain focus and whatever. Again, it's the body that's doing it, because the cells are connecting and saying, this is what I need. You've given me what I need. Okay, I know what to do now.
But this is a good example of the fact that Asea can work so quickly on people because it is native. Okay, let's switch over to the Renew 28. Actually, did you want to hold up for people who are watching?
I love the pouches because I can take them with me anywhere and everywhere. And it's got a one-way valve. So when I drink from it, it's not going to contaminate it. So I love the pouches, but this is the way it first started up in a bottle. So in this bottle, you pour it into a cup and then you consume it. You never drink out of the cup, bottle. You take it first thing in the morning when you first wake up, so that it goes directly to the cells of the body. And then you don't eat or drink anything or brush your teeth for about 10 minutes, because you're allowing for it to go straight to the cells of the body. The other one we're going to talk about is the gel, and I love the gel. And I'd like to think that the reason that I do look better is because of the gel, because the gel is working, the liquid's working straight on the cell, and then when you put the gel, it's coming from the skin and meeting in the middle. And so the gel works on the skin to help heal the process of the skin. So if you have, for example, this is back to my husband. My husband fell. We were out power walking, and one day he went without me, and he fell on concrete. Asphalt took all his skin, and he had this huge, I have pictures, huge gash. And so we used the Asea liquid and the gel, and immediately he could feel the skin starting to come together. And if you look at it, you don't see a scar there. Because it heals so quickly. And so,
and this, he was in his 80s when this happened,
this was in his 80s, right? So this is our first aid kit. We don't go anywhere without it.
Yeah, I get that. So I know a fair amount of athletes use Renew 28. How do they use it? What does it help them do?
For pain and joint discomfort, I shouldn't say pain, joint discomfort. I'm not a doctor. But joint discomfort or anything like that, when you apply it, it works again back on the cells of the body to help work on the process of alleviating whatever that discomfort is.
So you're going to be doing this indoor triathlon tomorrow. I'm assuming you're going to be drinking your Asea.
Of course.
Are you going to be putting the Renew 28 on like before and after, or just one or the other?
Probably after, if I need it. We'll see.
Yeah, because you may not.
Yeah. So I'm going to keep the Asea with me so that in between those 300 whatever it is, push-ups that I'm going to be doing. I'll just consume, and in addition to my water, I'll consume some Asea along the way, because you can't overdose on it.
No. Again, it's native. Okay, so the Renew 28, is this something that should be used daily, like over your entire body, or just on areas that are sore? Or maybe, I know it's good like for a facial. So again, specific areas or just everywhere?
Every day, when you wash your face, they have a skincare line also, which is really amazing.
Yeah.
But even if you already have a good skincare line, you use it after you wash your face. You put it on all over your face, on your neck, and on your face. And then you do whatever you normally do if you already have a skincare regimen that you normally do. But you can use it on any part of the body. So if you have irritation anywhere in the body, sometimes we get out and we're affected by mosquitoes, or if you burn yourself or cut yourself. When you put it on, you can actually see it working on closing and stopping the bleeding immediately, taking out the pain if you burn yourself, immediately withdrawing that. So it's just a miracle first aid kit in a tube. We don't go anywhere without it.
Yeah.
It's good for the gums. You can put it on the gums also. You just don't put it in your eyes. The gel you don't put in your eyes.
No, I wouldn't think so. Okay, so you mentioned it. There is a Renew Advanced Skincare System.
Right.
So how is it different from like other skincare systems out there?
And that everything is natural. Again, and it's using some of the Redox molecules in some of the products. So it's a skincare that the face wash is made with natural products like flowers and things like that. It's a foamy, and it's really gentle to the skin. Then you use your gel, and then afterwards you use an extra serum, which is more fortified. Use a toner, and then use a moisturizer. But again, you could use the gel with any system. It's not going to interfere with anything at all.
So you could put that on and then go do your regular makeup.
I always tell people, you get it, use the gel and finish out whatever beauty regime you've got before you get into something else. And then if you want to try the Asea Redox, the system for the face, then try
Renu Advanced Skincare System.
Got system, right?
Okay, cool. Now Renu Asea has recently come out with some other products.
Right.
Tell us about those.
Yeah, they have several other products. These are 3 that have just come out. They're a powder, and you put them in, let's say, a bottle of water.
Because at lunch she was drinking one of those and it looked like brown water. I was thinking, okay, I have to ask, what is that you're drinking? And it was one of those.
Yeah, that was the cell. It's all for cell performance. So one of them is for energy, one of them is for the mind, the other one's for the mood. So one of them looks reddish color.
And that one, I think that's when you gave me one of those. It's berry.
Right.
What are the others?
And so it's got healthy fruits and things like that, flowers and things like that will provide healthiness to the body. So it's something that I'm trying. I'm gonna use it.
It's really new.
Yeah.
I think you said you just got it. Okay, that said berry. I don't have my glasses on. What does this one say?
This one says citrus. That's why it looks kind of brown. It was citrusy. This one's tropical.
Tropical. Okay.
So berry.
Just wanted to see what they are.
Just, if instead of drinking a soda or a glass of tea, the best thing, I'm a big advocate about hydration and water, and hydration is pure water.
Absolutely.
But sometimes you want something a little bit different. So this is something that's not going to have negative side effects. And so it's just something good for you and your kids.
Or maybe you're going to do a 5K run or something and you want the energy.
Yeah.
So
I just started hiking again in Cameron Park. I used to do that a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. And so that would be something really good for you to take, because not only are you hydrating your body, you're giving your body the substance that it needs for you to stay on that uneven trail, to pay attention to your surroundings and enjoy the hike, because the whole purpose of doing it is not just to empower your body, but to enjoy the beauty of your surroundings, especially in Cameron Park. I'm a little partial about Cameron Park. It's a beautiful place.
It is absolutely gorgeous. I was there just a couple of weeks ago on the Riverwalk and, just doing all of that.
I think on Wednesdays, the park rangers are going to start having routinely, weekly on Wednesdays at 5:30, this hiking trail. So if you want to hike with the group, I'd say show up.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to get to Janie's contact information here in just a little bit. But that is the end of this part of it. And thank you so much. You are a very informative guest.
Thank you. I love learning and I love sharing. Yeah. I find that when I'm learning, teaching, and serving, I'm in my happy place.
Yeah.
When I'm in my happy place, everything comes with ease and grace. Yeah. And I want other people to be able to experience the beauty of life, that knowing that you don't have to struggle, that it's a choice, and you don't have to stay in that struggling mode for very long. Be willing to ask for help. There's lots of people like Melissa and myself who are more than happy to help you with something that doesn't cost you any money. Sometimes it's just a conversation, because you already know the answers. You just want to be heard, you want to be understood, and you want to be loved. And of course, sometimes it just takes that connection with someone
absolutely
outside of your family. Sometimes you just want an impartial person.
Yep. All right. So I'm going to give a fun fact about Waco. Waco is the home of the Texas Rangers Museum. And I'm going to give a brief history, of the organization. Have you been to that museum?
Of course. I used to work for the Texas Rangers Museum when I was going through college at Baylor. I was one of the tour guides.
Well, the Texas Ranger Museum is like within walking distance to the Baylor campus. It's right there. I've driven past it a million times. I just realized I've never been. I need to go. In 1821, Stephen F. Austin, who was known as the father of Texas, he made a contract to bring 300 families to the province, which is now known as Texas. By 1823, there were more than 600 to 700 people in Texas. Can you imagine? 600 to 700 people in all of Texas. But there was no regular army to protect them. So Austin called the citizens together, organized a group to provide the needed protection, and he first referred to this group as the Rangers in 1823 because their duties had them ranging all over the state. The name later changed to the Texas Rangers. So generally, a ranger is called in when the case was considered too great for a local agency. And I didn't know this. The Texas Rangers are the oldest law enforcement organization on the North American continent with statewide jurisdiction. They're often compared to 4 other world-famous law enforcement agencies, the FBI, Scotland Yard, Interpol, and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Pretty good company, huh? In 2020, the Texas Department of Public Safety promoted their first female captains, Rangers Wendy Wakeman and Melba Sayans, something. Ranger James Thomas was also promoted to the rank of captain, making him the first known Ranger in modern history to hold a doctorate degree. So, the Rangers are progressing as well. Okay, so we are going to wrap this up. Janie, tell people how they can contact you if they would like to do that, please.
Thank you. I'd love to connect with you. We have a business networking meeting that we meet at Baylor Club every Tuesday from 4:30 to 5:30. You can always find me there. I'd like to invite you to come and visit. If you have a business, come and join us, introduce yourself, tell us what industry you're in and how we can support you. So that's one way. The other way is I do have a website, and I think you're going to post that, right?
Yes, it will be.
Yeah.
But go ahead and tell them what it is.
Okay. It's the initial J and then Gonzales, Gonzales, .myAsealive, live.com. And so that's another way that you can reach me. I live in Waco. I've lived here since I was 3. I went to Baylor University. So I'm very connected in the community because I love giving back. I mean, I love to serve. So if anybody needs something, if they invite us or they tell us that how we can help them, not only do we like to put in labor, okay, we like to tithe. So we don't have to belong to that organization to say yes. I feel like as long as we have the mental and physical capacity, it's our obligation to step up and help.
And Janie can often be found at the Baylor Club.
Absolutely. And if you're not a member of Baylor Club, please connect with me. I'd like to invite you to be my guest for lunch at Baylor Club.
That's fun. Okay. So, ladies, if you enjoyed this podcast, I would love for you to do one or all of the following. One is follow the podcast, write a review, and or share the episode. I am trying to build up my audience. I'm really pretty good at the other stuff. The social media marketing, not so much. And I know some of you just live, eat, and breathe that. So if you could help me out, that would be great. I want to thank you all, especially thank you to Janie for being here today. You were a great guest to have. And by the way, Janie does another product that's natural, has to do with music. That's all I'm going to say. And we will have her back sometime in the future to talk about that one because that is very cool. All right, ladies, everyone have a great day. See you next time. Bye.